Hello everyone and welcome to the new session of the biology lecture series. And today we'll be discussing the chapter nutrition, which is the chapter from the class 10th science book. All right. So in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the nutrition in plants. So we were talking about the photosynthesis and what is the site of photosynthesis and what were the mode of nutritions. Okay. So there we were talking about the heterotrophic and the autotrophic mode of nutrition. All right. And then we talked about the light reaction and the dark reactions, which are included under the mechanism of photosynthesis. So in this session, we'll be discussing about the nutrition in plants. So let's start with this session. So animals, they have highly evolved digestive mechanisms. Okay. So if we talk about the higher organisms, they have specialized digestive organs, okay, or they have specialized digestive mechanisms that help in the digestion process. Okay, so what are the components? Two basic components of the digestive system. These are the alimentary canal and the digestive gland. Now, if we talk about the alimentary canal, it is long, hollow, tubular structure consisting of various organs for the digestion. Okay, so all the organs involved in the digestion, they are present in the alimentary canal. And the second component is the digestive glands. So digestive glands, what is the role of digestive gland? They help to secrete the enzymes as well as the hormones that help in the digestion of the food materials. Okay. Now, digestion in animals, it consists of the following steps. The first step is the ingestion. So ingestion is nothing but it is the process of intake of food through mouth. Okay, so intake of food is through mouth and this process is known as ingestion. Next is the ingested food. It has to be digested then. Okay, so what is digestion? It is the breakdown of large and the complex molecules into simpler and smaller molecules, okay, that can be absorbed, okay, in the body. Okay, so digestion, how can you define digestion? It is the breakdown of the complex molecule into simpler molecules that are then available for absorption. Now, next step is absorption. Here what happens? Taking up of the digested food through the intestinal wall to the blood. So intestine, or you can say the cells of the intestine, that is involved in the absorption, okay, of the food material, absorption of the, you can say, nutrients, minerals, okay, and apart from this, water is also absorbed. Okay, so basically water is absorbed in the large intestine. All right, so this is known as absorption, and after absorption, all these nutrients and water, they are mixed into the blood, and then it provides us energy. Now the fourth step is assimilation. So assimilation is also a very important step. Otherwise, the body won't get the energy. Now, in this process, the absorbed food is taken up by the body cells. Okay, so the food material, all the nutrients, all the minerals, they are taken up by the body cells, and now they can use this energy to do various processes. Now, last step is egestion. Egestion is the process by which the undigested material or the matter is expelled out of the body. So this process is also very important. Otherwise, all the toxic substance will remain in the body, and that is not good for the body. It can cause a lot of damages and diseases. Now, digestive system is regulated by various hormones secreted by some endocrine glands. So there are certain or the specific kind of glands present in the human body or present in the living organism that are known as the endocrine gland. And the endocrine gland, they secrete various hormones. Okay, and why they are known as endocrine gland? Because they directly secrete the hormones into the blood. Okay, that's why they are known as the endocrine glands. All right, now they secrete a lot of hormones, and these hormones help in the regulation of the digestion. Alimentary canal was first developed in the phylum Platyhelminthes. Okay, so the first, if someone asks you, Where was the alimentary gland first developed? So it was developed in the members of the phylum Platyhelminthes. Okay, but only the mouth was present in them. Okay, so it was very primitive alimentary canal, or you can say very simple form of the alimentary canal. It was not at all complex, and here the mouth was not present. So the food material is directly absorbed through the body and it's not ingested through mouth. Then what happens? Coiled and well-developed alimentary canal was first developed in the members of Annelida. Okay, so Annelida. Okay, what are the members of Annelida? Earthworm. So you can say in earthworm, the first developed alimentary canal was observed. Some other examples are leeches. So these are the members of the Annelida. And from Annelida, we can say there was well-developed alimentary canal in Annelida, and then later it also evolved, and now mammals have the highly developed alimentary canal. Now let's talk about the nutrition in amoeba. How amoeba gains the nutrition, how it gains the energy. Now amoeba, you know, it is a unicellular organism which lives in the water. Now here the mode of nutrition in amoeba is holozoic. This we have already discussed in the previous session. In amoeba and humans also, in man also, the mode of nutrition is holozoic. Now what is holozoic mode of nutrition? When the organism, it consumes lot of organic, or you can say various types of the organic material, and then that organic material is digested and assimilated. Okay, so here the organism, it consumes various organic molecules or organic compounds that are later on digested and then assimilated. Okay, so mostly what happens, the food that is consumed is mostly solid. Okay, but some liquid food is also consumed in holozoic nutrition. Now in amoeba, the process of obtaining food is through phagocytosis. So phagocytosis, simply you can say it is known as cell eating. So what happens in phagocytosis? With the help of the pseudopodia, the bacteria, it can obtain the food, or it can capture any cell, or it can capture the food materials through pseudopodia, which are nothing but the extension of the plasma membrane. Now, what are the steps involved in digestion of amoeba? First is the ingestion. Now, since the amoeba, it is unicellular, so a single cell is responsible for carrying out all the vital activities. Okay, here you can see this is very unique. They are single cellular, means they are made up of single cell, and single cell is carrying out all the activities that are involved in the lifespan of the organism. Now, food is ingested with the help of pseudopodia. Okay, now the animal engulfs the food particles lying near it by forming pseudopodia. So first what happens, this amoeba, they form the pseudopodia, which are just finger-like projections around. Okay, and then it engulfs the food materials, and then the food material enters into the food vacuole, which is present inside the amoeba, and the food vacuole is also considered as the temporary stomach. Okay, so what happens? The amoeba, it forms the pseudopodia, and then the pseudopodia, it captures the food. Okay, it engulfs the food, and then the food materials, it enters into the food vacuole present within the amoeba, and then the food is stored temporarily in the food vacuole, and food vacuole is also known as the temporary stomach. Now next is the digestion. Here what happens, the enzymes from the surrounding cytoplasm, they enter the food vacuole, and breakdown of the food into smaller and soluble form take place. Now then what happens after digestion? Absorption. Here the digested food is absorbed by the cytoplasm. By which process? By simple diffusion. Okay, and then what happens? The food vacuole disappears in the end. Okay, that's why it is the temporary storage or the temporary stomach. So here, in short, we can say the amoeba acquires food with the help of pseudopodia. It engulfs the food and then it digests the food. And in digestion, what happens? The enzymes, they enter into the food vacuole. They break down the food into smaller and soluble forms. And then the soluble forms or the smaller form of the food, it is absorbed into the cytoplasm by the process known as simple diffusion. Okay. Now next is assimilation. After absorption, we have assimilation. Here what happens? The food absorbed in the amoeba is used to obtain energy from the respiration for its growth and reproduction. Now in the end what happens? Egestion of the food material. This is also very important. So here what happens? The undigested food is thrown out of the cell into the environment. So this is an image showing you the nutrition in amoeba. So here is the amoeba and it forms the pseudopodia first. And this is the food material or a cell that is being engulfed by the amoeba. Here you can see the enzymes, they enter into the food vacuole and they help in the digestion of the food material. And then there is an absorption of the food material, and due to the absorption, there is the growth of the amoeba. All right, and then this is the egestion process where the undigested food is released from the body or thrown out of the body. Now let's talk about nutrition in grasshopper. So here what happens? It has a well-developed digestive system. So grasshoppers, they have well-developed digestive system. So grasshopper, these are insect and they are from the phylum Arthropoda. Okay, so they have well-developed digestive system having an alimentary canal and digestive glands. Now the various organs of digestive system of grasshopper are, okay, starting with the mouth. Okay, then mouth, it continues into the esophagus. So esophagus is nothing but it is a tube-like structure. There is no digestion here in the esophagus. So what is the function of the esophagus? So as it is a tube-like structure, so it is just the passage for the food to be transferred from mouth to the crop, or you can say from mouth to the stomach in the higher organism. And here no digestion takes place, no digestive enzymes are present here. Then after esophagus, crop is present. Okay, so esophagus leads to crop. And what is crop? In the crop, the food is stored temporarily. Okay, so what is crop? Crop is a bag-like structure. It is the bag-like structure and it is the temporary reservoir of food. Temporary reservoir of the food. Okay, and what is crop? It is just the dilated, okay, portion of esophagus. Now crop leads into gizzard. So what is gizzard? Gizzard is present in the posterior region of the crop. Okay, this is present. If we talk about the gizzard, this is present in the posterior region of the crop. Okay, and it has longitudinal folds in it, gizzards. Okay, now gizzards leads to stomach. All right, and then stomach leads to ileum, which is the part of the intestine. Then we have the colon, and then we have the rectum. All right, so this is clear. So this is the various organs of the digestive system of grasshopper. Now let's talk about the glands associated with nutrition in the grasshopper. So these are the salivary glands and the hepatic ceca, also known as hepatic cecum. So these are the glands which helps in the digestion, and they consist of the digestive enzymes. Okay, salivary glands, obviously this will be present in the mouth, in the buccal cavity. All right, and hepatic ceca, this is present at the junction of foregut, okay, and the midgut. This is where hepatic ceca is present. So hepatic ceca is also involved in the digestion. Now, the body of the grasshopper is divided into three regions. First is foregut, second is midgut, and third is hindgut. Okay, so digestive system of the grasshopper can be divided into three parts. First is foregut, then we have midgut, and then we have hindgut. So foregut is from mouth to the gizzard, and the midgut is from the gizzard to the stomach, and then hindgut is from the ileum to the anus, or you can say the rectum. So this is an image showing you the digestive system of the grasshopper. Here you can see the body is divided into the foregut, midgut, and hindgut. And you can see all the important organs here. Ileum, which is the part of the intestine. Rectum, you can see here the undigested food is stored for some time and then it is released through the anus. Okay, then you can see here the Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules are the excretory structure. Okay, they are the excretory system present in the grasshopper. Okay, these are known as the Malpighian tubules. So these help in the formation of the urine and it also helps in the osmoregulation. Okay. Now, here you can see the gastric ceca or hepatic ceca, which is present between the junction of the foregut and the midgut. Okay, these secrete digestive enzymes. Here you can see these are the digestive enzymes here. All right, here the nutrients, they are absorbed. Food material passes through here. Okay, so basically the body is divided into foregut, midgut, and hindgut. All right, and then foregut is from the mouth to the gizzard. Okay, and midgut is from the gizzard to the stomach, and then hindgut is from the ileum to the rectum or the anus. Clear? Now let's move on. Now this I have already told you, the process of digestion, it involves ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. So let's talk about egestion first. Ingestion, what happens? Now, grasshopper, it feeds on the green leaves. So what was ingestion? It is the uptake of the food through mouth. So grasshopper, it eats green leaves. All right. So it takes food through its mouth with the help of its forelegs and mouth parts. All right. This process is known as ingestion. Second is digestion. So digestion in grasshopper, it starts from the mouth. So mouth, they consist of what? We have already discussed, salivary glands. So salivary glands, they secrete or they consist of the enzymes which helps in the digestion of the carbohydrate. Now, a pair of salivary glands secrete saliva and release it into the mouth through the salivary duct. Okay. Now, the saliva mixes with the food and lubricates and softens the food. So this is the role of the saliva. It mixes with the food material. Okay, and it also lubricates and softens the food, and because of this it can be easily ingested. Okay, this is the role of the saliva. Other role is the digestion. It helps in digestion of the carbohydrates such as starch. Okay, it consists of digestive enzymes. All right, then what happens? Continuing with the digestion process here. So here in the mouth, digestion of starch begins here. Okay, or the digestion, we can say the digestion of the carbohydrate begins in the mouth. Then what happens? This slightly digested food, it enters into the crop. Okay, through a food pipe known as esophagus. So other name of esophagus is food pipe, which is just a tube-like structure. All right, now crop stores the food temporarily. Okay, now after crop, the food moves into the gizzard. Here it is finely crushed and masticated, and then it moves to the stomach. Now in stomach, hepatic cecae, okay, these are also involved in the digestion. It releases its secretion in the form of digestive enzymes. Thus, the food is then completely digested at this site. So you can say that in stomach, complete digestion of the food takes place. Now next after digestion is absorption. So what happens? The digested food, moves to the small intestine, you can say ileum, all right, and then absorbed through its wall. So ileum, which is the part of the intestine, all right, here what happens, what is the role here? It helps in the absorption of the nutrients, all right, as along with nutrients, water is also absorbed. Okay, and then after absorption, all the nutrients, minerals, and the water, they mix into the blood. Next is assimilation. So here what happens? The nutrients are assimilated whenever required by the cells for the fulfillment of the growth, energy, and repair of the body part. Okay, and then the last step is the egestion. So here what happens? The undigested food is then passed through the hindgut. All right, here the water is absorbed and expelled out through the anus in the form of elongated dry fecal pellets. The excretory organ of the grasshopper is known as the malpighian tubules, which is present at the junction of hindgut and midgut. Okay, is clear? So here you have to remember this malpighian tubules. These are known as the excretory organs present in the grasshopper, or you can say present in the arthropod. Cockroach also, it consists of the malpighian tubules. So these help in the formation of the urine, and it also helps in the osmoregulation also. Okay. Now let's talk about the nutrition in humans. How humans, they acquire the nutrition. Earlier we were talking about the nutrition in the lower animals, such as cockroach and grasshopper. All right. Now we'll be talking about nutrition in the complex and the higher organisms, such as humans. Now humans have highly evolved and complicated digestive system consisting of alimentary canal and different type of digestive glands. Now, alimentary canal, it consists of the following organs. First is the mouth, which is present in the buccal cavity. Okay, so buccal cavity is consists of what? It consists of the salivary glands. Okay, so salivary glands is also present here, which secretes saliva, and the role of saliva we have already seen. Then it also consists of the teeth. And the third component of the buccal cavity is the tongue. These are all present in the buccal cavity, or simply you can say the mouth. Then the mouth leads into esophagus, which is just a tube-like structure. Here no digestion takes place. Then esophagus is connected to the stomach. All right, and here lot of gastric juices are secreted, which consist of the digestive enzyme, and here lot of digestion takes place. Then after stomach, we have the small intestine. Then small intestine is connected to the large intestine. Okay, and then after large intestine, we have the rectum, and then the undigested food is thrown out of the body through anus. Now let's talk about the mouth first. Mouth, it is a small slit through which food is ingested, or through which food is taken inside the body. Now buccal cavity. Let's talk about the buccal cavity. Buccal cavity, the mouth opens into a chamber called as buccal cavity. Okay. Now the roof of the buccal cavity is called the hard palate. Okay. The roof is known as the hard palate. Okay. And at the floor of this buccal cavity, thick muscular structure is present, which is known as the tongue. Okay. Now it helps in the chewing, swallowing, tasting, and the speaking also. Now, if you talk about the tongue has various type of papillae, okay, which have the taste bud. So you know, tongue, it has lots of taste bud. It helps us to taste the salt, the sugar, and the bitter taste, sour taste. So there are different regions present on the tongue, and these different regions, they help us to taste different kind of food. All right, and these are the other roles of tongue: chewing, swallowing, tasting, and speaking. Now let's talk about the jaws. So I've told you teeth is the third component. What were the component of buccal cavity? Salivary gland, tongue, and the teeth. Okay, so here they have shown you there are 4 kinds of teeth, and together they are present in the jaws. Now jaws, which is present in the buccal cavity, they are provided with 4 different kinds of teeth. incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Incisors, what is the role of incisors? They are used for cutting the food material. Canines, they are required for tearing the food material. Premolars and the molars, they are used for grinding the food material. Okay. Now let's talk about the dental formula of the humans. Okay, now what is the dental formula? Dental formula is the arrangement of the teeth in the buccal cavity or in the mouth. This is known as the dental formula. Or how can we define? The arrangement of the teeth in the upper jaw. So there are two jaws. We have the upper jaw and we have the lower jaw. So both these jaws, they contain equal number of teeth. All right. So let's talk about the dental formula here. Now first we have the milk teeth and then we have the permanent teeth. So milk teeth, obviously they are present in the small babies. So these teeth, these are temporary and they arise at 6 to 11 months of age. And here the number of teeth present at this age or in the kids, they are 20. So 20 teeth are present in the kids. Alright, so how to calculate the dental formula here? Now the upper jaw. Okay, we'll talk about the upper jaw and the lower jaw. Alright, so this is the upper jaw and this is the lower jaw. Okay. And here is the lower jaw. So here you can divide this into two. Okay, both of it. Here equal number of teeth will be present. Here same number of teeth will be present. Here also same number of teeth. Here also same. So if you talk about the milk teeth, here the dental formula is 2102. Okay. So here you can calculate 2 plus 1 plus 2 is 5. Okay. So 5 are present on one side. Okay. 5 are present on the other side of the upper jaw. So in total here what we have 10 teeth here in the upper jaw. Similarly here in the lower jaw, we have the 5 teeth here. We have 5 teeth here. And together we have 10 teeth here. And if we add these two teeth in the upper jaw and the lower jaw, we have 20 teeth here. And this is the dental formula 2102 upper jaw and the half lower jaw. So here I have written half lower jaw. Okay, half lower jaw will be 2102. So these are incisors, canines, premolars and molars. Okay. Similarly, if we talk about the permanent teeth, so here the half upper jaw, it consists of 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if we calculate this 2 plus 1, 3, 8. So here we have 8 in the half upper jaw and then we have 8 in the half lower jaw. So we have to multiply this with 2. So we have 16 teeth in the upper jaw and 16 teeth in the lower jaw. And if we add these two, then we have how many? 32 teeth. So the adult human being, they consist of 32 teeth. Okay. Now the permanent teeth, they arise later and they arise at 6 to 12 years of the age. Okay. Now this was about the dental formula of the humans, which is defined as, how can we define it? The arrangement of teeth in the upper jaw and the lower jaw. And this dental formula varies. Okay, so for herbivores, dental formula will be different. For carnivores, dental formula will be different. And for omnivores also, the dental formula will be different. So human is an omnivore. And this is the dental formula for the humans. Okay, this 2, 1, 2, 3, this represents different kinds of teeth, which are incisors, canines, premolars and molars. Now there are 3 pairs of salivary glands which are present in the mouth, and these salivary glands, they release their secretion into the buccal cavity, and because of this the digestion of carbohydrates takes place. So we can say the digestion of carbohydrate takes place in the mouth with the help of the saliva that is secreted by the salivary glands. So this saliva consists of what? It consists of the enzyme salivary amylase. Okay, which is also known as ptyalin. Now, mouth leads to esophagus. The esophagus is also known as the food pipe, and it leads the food from mouth to the stomach. So this is the role of the esophagus. There is no digestion. So there is no digestion in the esophagus, and it only leads the food from mouth to the stomach. And esophagus is or has the highly muscular walls, and there is no digestion occurring here. So the walls of the esophagus are very muscular. Okay, and because of this peristaltic movement, they transfer the food from the mouth to the stomach. Now, esophagus leads into stomach. So now the food have reached the stomach. Now, what is stomach? Stomach is a J-shaped bag-like structure which is present on the left side of the abdomen. Okay. Now, it contains several branched and tubular glands present on the inner surface of its wall. Okay, which secrete the gastric juice. So the stomach, okay, it consists of lot of digestive glands which are branched and tubular, and they are present on the inner surface of its wall. Okay, now these glands, the digestive gland, they secrete the gastric juice. So this gastric juice consists of the gastric enzymes. And what kinds of enzymes? Just such as pepsin, which is involved in what? These are involved in the digestion of proteins. So we have pepsin, then we have trypsin. Okay, so these are some examples of the enzymes that are present in the gastric juice. Now, after stomach then leads to the small intestine. Now, small intestine, this is very quiet and a narrow tube-like structure, and it has 3 regions. Okay, so intestine is divided into 3 regions. Okay, duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Okay, now what happens? On the inner wall of the small intestine, numerous finger-like projections are found, which are known as the villi. And what is the role of the villi? They increase the surface area of absorption. So, in small intestine, what happens? Absorption of the food materials or the absorption of the nutrients take place. This is the function of the small intestine. And along with it, there is digestion of fat also. Okay. So the fat molecules are also digested in small intestine with the help of the enzyme lipases. Okay. And what else? Villi are present, which are finger-like projections present in the small intestine, which increase the surface area of absorption. Now, duodenum. What is duodenum? Duodenum is proximal part of the small intestine that receives the secretion from the liver and the pancreas. So what are the secretion of liver and pancreas? So liver secretes the bile, alright, which is stored in the gallbladder for some time, and pancreas, it secretes pancreatic juice. So this also helps in digestion. So there is a common duct, and which carries the secretion of the liver as well as the pancreas into the duodenum. Okay. Now, after small intestine, or you can say small intestine leads into large intestine. Alright, now small intestine opens into the large intestine, and from here the undigested food material is passed to the anus through rectum, and it is divided into 3 parts: cecum, colon, and rectum. Okay, so these are the 3 parts of the large intestine. And what is the function of large intestine? Absorption of water. So the water is absorbed in large intestine. And absorption of water is very important. Otherwise, the body will be dehydrated. So in certain diseases like diarrhea, there is no absorption of water and it causes dehydration. And what are the parts of small intestine? Cecum, colon, and rectum. Okay, so rectum, it stores the undigested food for some time and then you can release it through the anus. Now let's talk about the digestive glands present in the higher organisms such as humans. So first is the salivary glands, which are present in the buccal cavity. So there are 3 pairs of salivary glands which are present in the buccal cavity or in the mouth cavity. Now these salivary glands, they secrete the enzyme which helps in the chemical digestion. So they secrete enzyme known as salivary amylase, which is earlier it was known as the ptyalin, and it helps in the digestion of the starch, which is a carbohydrate. Now, apart from the salivary gland, other digestive glands are also present, such as gastric glands. Okay, so these are the, you can say, the primary gastric gland is the primary digestive gland. This is present in the stomach and they secrete hydrochloric acid and protein digesting enzymes and mucus. All right, so hydrochloric acid is very important, HCl. So it maintains the acidic pH. Acidic pH is maintained with the help of hydrochloric acid, and all the enzymes, they function at this acidic pH. Okay, and apart from it, it also secretes protein digesting enzymes such as pepsin and trypsin, and also secrete the mucus. So mucus protects the stomach wall from the hydrochloric acid. Now, other digestive glands are liver. So these are all primary digestive glands. So liver, it is the largest gland and it secretes bile into the small intestine. Now bile contains the bile juice and the bile pigments. Okay, but it doesn't contain any enzymes. So no enzymes are present. All right, and bile is alkaline in nature and it is temporarily stored in the gallbladder and it helps in the digestion of fats and it also helps in the absorption of the fats. Now let's talk about the pancreas. It lies parallel to and below the stomach. It secretes the pancreatic juice into the small intestine. Now the pancreatic juice contains tyrosine and the pancreatic amylase. Alright, now beside these two enzymes, pancreas also secrete 2 hormones such as insulin and the glucagon. So this insulin and glucagon, these are the hormones that helps in the regulation of the digestion. Alright, so it has both exocrine as well as the endocrine functions. Alright, so pancreas is the organ that is considered both endocrine and exocrine. Alright, so it secretes hormones directly into the blood. That's why it is known as endocrine. And exocrine because it secretes enzymes with the help of the ducts. Now, for both bile and pancreatic juice are released into the duodenum by a common duct. So there is a common duct that carries the secretion of the liver, which is bile, and the pancreatic juice into the duodenum. So this is clear. So pancreatic juice, these consist of the enzyme tyrosine, which helps in digestion of the proteins, and the amylase, which helps in the digestion of the carbohydrates. And it also secretes hormones. So that's why it is known as the that's why it is known as the endocrine as well as the exocrine gland, because it is secreting enzymes as well as the hormones. Okay, so this was the end of this session. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.